You are watching Xirtus.
Here's the levels that it works. One is you own a company, you go in, you clean up the company, and then you own the company still. You have a CEO working for you. That's exactly what Alphabet's doing with Google. So he's doing the right thing. The other thing is he did just release a bunch of Twitter documents that confirm stuff that you and I already knew, but everyone else was like, really? JFK was murdered? I don't know. I thought he fell. Like, what is going on with people?
He was shot from a sewer drain 15 feet away, right?
It wasn't a Boy Scout with like double vision? What is I don't even know the official excuse anymore.
It was Jackie's gun. She just got slipped.
No, we know their names, man. It was two guys down there in the freaking sewer, and one of them has an arrest record from the day of he had just got a job at a car dealership on like the other end of like the exit from the sewer drain, and like he showed up covered in mud, and they called the cops on him because the president had just been shot. This is in Everything's a Rich Man's Trick, you know? But that shit, I cannot debunk it. I could try. I have tried. I can't. Some of the shit they share.
I highly recommend this documentary. It's on YouTube for free right now. It's if you want to get kind of a look into a lot of the data that people have had for years on the JFK thing and the Bay of Pigs. And the Bay of Pigs is interesting because you've got a bunch of these Knights of the Golden Circle, which keeps coming up again for some reason. You guys remember the Knights of the Golden Circle? Yeah. Do you guys know what this is? So the Knights of the Golden Circle were like a Masonic adjacent group that were in the North and the South. And when I say that, I mean like where they were was here, right? This is their zone, the Caribbean. And they were everywhere else too. But they had this group called the Knights of the Golden Circle that wanted to make a new Havana, Cuba capital that was going to be Nova Atlantis, right? Everything's always about Atlantis. And they had slaves, but they had black people and white people. It was a lot more complicated and diverse than people realized. Anyway, Civil War goes on. They arrest one of their main leaders. All of a sudden, Yankees and Confederates take off their uniforms and put on all black. And the Confederates and Yankees march hand in hand to bomb Pennsylvania because they want to get their leader back. Because it was more important to them, the Knights of the Golden Circle, than the North or the South during the Civil War. So that gives you an idea of how little it mattered, the Yankees versus the Confederates, and how much more important the Knights of the Golden Circle was. And then Abraham Lincoln freaked out, suspended habeas corpus, so he could arrest anyone at any time for whatever, for as long as they wanted. And it was all trying to catch the leaders of the Knights of the Golden Circle. Come 100 years later, from 1860 to 1960s, you've got the same problem. You've got corporate globalism coming out of the South America, where it's cheaper to work the Banana Republic. And all of a sudden, George Bush and his friends, they lose their giant plantations in Kingdom Come in the Bay of Pigs. Cuba loses everything. Or rather, the CIA families do. And then they decide that Kennedy's an amateur, and they want to get him.
There's the whole list of coincidences between JFK and Lincoln, right?
Yeah, thank you.
That's a good one there.
It's
go ahead, David.
No. You go ahead.
Let me just really quickly say, Bobby Bobcat here says Danny Casolaro's work ends all well up of my own follow-up. Yeah, I'll look into Danny Casolaro. That sounds interesting.
So Lincoln was killed in the Ford Theater. You got Kennedy killed in a Lincoln, right? Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's who replaced him was Ford, and then who replaced him was freaking. How did it work? Yeah, you'll have the list.
Yeah, there's a whole list here. Let's see. So John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln in the theater and ran to a warehouse, and Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and ran to a theater. So
right,
it's a whole bunch of little tidbits of weird reverse coincidences.
Yeah, it's like someone went in and kind of like messed with the source code, and things got a little messed up.
46 is good though. There's a lot of links with 46 to Shakespeare and Trump. Right, there's a bunch there. Kennedy, I don't know. I mean, I don't know because like the thing is when you go deep into the numbers, you can find links in a lot of places. But when you start looking, but I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying it's so easy to just look at the JFK connections, just physically what they were working on, the connections of the Rothschilds, the connections to Catholicism, even the mirroring of who John Wilkes Booth versus our Discordian Lee Harvey Oswald. Remember the Discordian thing, David?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So yes, who's the guy? We interviewed him for Always Record. There's a guy who's written books on that. Adam Go Rightly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
so yeah, he really does a good job of laying out the connection between Lee Harvey Oswald as essentially one of the co-founders of Discordianism. And so, but there's the other guy. What's his name? What's that guy's name?
The other guy is
The one he always talks about.
Yeah, the blonde guy.
Well, actually, Gorelli is actually in our group in Synchronous. He actually joined.
If you
the other guy is it starts with a G. I forgot. But it's not a Discordian. It's not a Discordian.
You're talking Grant Morrison?
No.
He's not Discordian.
No, he served with Lee Harvey Oswald. So Lee Harvey Oswald was in Vietnam with this guy who's basically is the real founder of Discordianism. But there's a direct link and relationship. And there's testimony. So this is recorded in testimony. So you can look at excerpts from like what he had to say about his relationship. And it came up. Discordianism came up. That was a real discussion in the JFK assassination trial. So like the one that they
Thornley and Hill, right? Kerry Thornley and Greg Hill.
There it is. Thank you. Yeah, Thornley. Yeah, totally.
Right. So Thornley's the one for sure. Here's Thornley in his military cut right now, or then, and there's Gregory Hill, both Discordians, right? And then these guys, so Kerry Thornley, who you can see more pictures of him looking more like a hippie here. This is the buddy of Lee Harvey Oswald. And also they fought together, right? Then they go to some weird military bases in Eastern Europe or Germany.
I thought that they were actually in, where were they? I don't know. I can't remember. I should know that. Sorry.
I keep finding like they'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, Jeffrey Dahmer was in West Berlin. Yeah, okay, sorry. So you never know. You never know where these guys were.
They were Marines, so you know, there's kind of like a what was that? In Mad Men kind of connection there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so you're a traveling man.
It's like what's the deal with it? Yeah. So as far as my understanding goes, I do think that Lee Harvey Oswald was a shooter, but of 6 shooters besides the 2 that actually got the fatal shot and the driver's shoulder. It's all about the angle in which he got shot. You can see it was from below. Right. That back and to the left, dude. That's coming
Grassy
from below.
Knoll, and then you have the 3 tramps, which is Harry. What's his name? Woody Harrelson's dad. That's a crazy link.
Yeah, he fucking shouted that shit when he was at a shoot off.
And he mentioned that on 60 Minutes, and he tried to walk it back when, what's her name, tried to ask him about his father, Lee Harvey Oswald's father. Woody Harrelson's father.
Kennedy?
Yeah, well, Woody Harrelson admitted that his father was one of the 3 tramps involved with the JFK assassination on 60 Minutes. But it was because she was asking him, and then he's like, oh, I shouldn't really say that. And he crosses his legs like an Indian and just is like, changes the subject.
He was a bootlegger, right? That was the deal?
Yeah.
So like, dude, isn't it kind of funny that like Oliver Stone did Natural Born Killers with Woody Harrelson, and Oliver Stone did JFK.
JFK,
yeah, but who did the Harvey Flint movie? Because that was the more issue. Wait, is that wrong?
Another guy. And I think he passed away.
Flint?
Larry Flint. My bad.
I knew what
Steve
you meant.
Harvey.
You were combining
Flint,
fucking Larry Harvey of Burning Man with Larry Flint.
Oh my god.
Larry the Cable Guy?
So Larry Flint's an interesting movie with Woody Harrelson that totally gets into the fact that he's a bootlegger and talks about the other side of American history and what Larry Flint is, who was also a moonshiner's kid, and how people tried to kill him. I mean, Courtney Love is right in the center. Come on, what's going on.
So Courtney Love is in this, and Courtney Love is in Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey, and that's the same director. And I think he passed away in the last couple of years, if I'm not mistaken.
Milos Forman, he directed A Man on the Moon?
I thought so, didn't he?
Well, he
I have a personal sync
this info right now.
I have a personal sync
with
with
Texas.
Disclaimer.
Oh.
I have a personal sync with Texas, and the place I worked at in Austin called AAA News. It was a non-adult and adult bookstore, but the guy that owned it, Border, had the same lawyer as Larry Flint, who's played by Edward Norton.
Wow, yeah. And there was Edward Norton in there as well. So wait, really quickly, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Hair, Amadeus, The People versus Larry Flint, Man on the Moon. I mean, this guy,
dude,
Milos
that's
Forman.
so weird that he did. I forgot that he did Hair, and I almost mentioned Hair earlier when you showed the picture of the freaking of Thornley.
Is he? He's a Czech. Okay, cool. All right,
yeah. Milos.
Yeah, so I got to sync with this with 2 Eminem albums actually on the website, just so you know. So it's Larry Flint with Man on the Moon, with Eminem's 2 albums. There's a whole thing. Because I don't know, man. He had that other character. Well, who Tony Clifton? So
Yeah,
he'd always
Tony
play
Clifton.
So there's something relatable with like Slim Shady versus Marshall Mathers. You know what I mean? There's like, will the real me please stand up? So it's like there's something that
Tony
works
like,
there.
hey,
With his,
yeah, with Andy Kaufman and then Man on the Moon. That takes it back to Strange Angel, right?
Yeah.
Right. We're almost there. Let's go to Strange Angel 1 second. Let me quickly read also. Let's read Stephen Kalin. JFK's wife leaned over, put a purse gun under his chin, and blew his brains out. Says this comment. I love you, Stephen. Outside U.S. journos have integrity and list Jackie as one of many suspects. Well, that part is, come on. At least I can read that without having to disclaim it.
Actually, there's a great painting. Somebody did a great painting of it. I
Stefan's always 10 years ahead of his time. He's like, what did I say? You know what I mean? As he's walking to the chambers. But he knows the truth. That's the thing. How far down do I have to go?
I don't know. Just keep going if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like, this is how many movies I got, though.
I was about to say, it's pretty based.
The way
it's pretty
set up,
based.
you can see the visualization of the album cover and the movie cover, and
Oh,
so you
there
can
it
find
is.
it.
People versus themselves. That's so good.
The people
Aw,
versus
with Eminem.
themselves. Yeah.
All right,
That's
I'm going to
great.
watch this.
Hey,
That's
Andreas, I'm uploading the picture. You should show this one. This is pretty cool.
Bobcat dropped a link to the archive on Danny and the Octopus in general research. Bobcat, I love you, Bobby. You're amazing. Say it again, Eddie.
Look up the mailbox, Twitter.
Oh, yeah, Synchronous. Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, I don't know who the artist is, but this visual just like is such a well done painting that I was convinced that must be how.
Oh my God, this is AI or something. This is the best.
No, this is not
Nice,
AI. This
wow.
is actually so you can
This
see
is a real photograph, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's
No,
what real
Stefan, 10 more points for Stefan right here. Look at this.
it's got all the clues in the photographs. It has Marilyn Monroe. It has.
Has anyone? Is it too uncouth to do a transvestigation into what's her name? Jack Kennedy.
Jackie O.
Yeah.
No, I think
yeah.
I really think she's a monarch, man. I have no doubt that she is like programmed. She's got blood splatter all over her shirt, and she's like, "Oh no, I want people to remember how my husband was killed." I'm like, just change your freaking code.
What do you mean, dude?
I mean, she's
don't
just a
know about all
weird-looking
that, dude.
lady,
I'm sorry. There's some intricacies to how that went down for her. That's like, it's insane. You're right insofar as she's standing there while Johnson is getting sworn in his place. Is that who was it?
In 1970, Stefan says Europe purse guns were nicknamed the Jackie. That's too good.
I feel a little handicapped right now. Who freaking replaced the same day?
LB Johnson.
Okay, so LBJ fucking is that wink, that famous wink. But you're right that she's standing there, covered in fucking John's blood. Like, what the hell? And it's true though, because they just moved her from place. So she just was like, "What the fuck is going on?" She was so traumatized,
right?
And she's standing there like a deer in headlights the whole time, dude. It's so intense.
I mean, to me,
you have to have seen that video of Bill Clinton where he shook, Kennedy's hand. And then who ends up getting in trouble about LBJ?
Kennedy met Clinton. Well, the more you learn.